According to General Hospital teasers on Friday, July 18th, Portia Robinson will declare her breakup with Drew Kane while Jason Morgan spies on Britt Westbourne. Carly Spencer will also take a Jocelyn Jack's boyfriend quiz, so there will be some major events in Port Charles. For starters, Willow Tate will beg over the phone, but Michael Corinthos appears unwilling to budge on custody or visits. With that in mind, Willow may grant Drew permission to go after Michael with everything he has. Drew's most recent demand for Portia involves changing Michael's blood testing to make him appear to be an opioid addict. However, Portia considers that a step too far, and she is beginning to feel that enough is enough. On Friday's episode, Portia will inform Curtis Ashford that she is prepared to recover her power and shut Drew down. Even if it means risking personal and professional consequences, Portia may believe it's necessary. Will Curtis agree with Portia's idea or urge her to keep stringing Drew along? Curtis clearly intends to take advantage of Drew and Nina's previous hookups, so he should plot his timing carefully. Liesl Obrecht will express key concerns during a talk with Nina Reeves. Obrecht will not believe Willow is right in the mind, given her Drew loyalty and the way she has allowed her life to spiral out of control. When Anna Devane summons Carly, she will inquire about Jocelyn's new beau. Carly knows nothing about Vaughn, but Anna will interrogate her nevertheless. After agreeing to help Anna with surveillance, Dante Falconeri will witness some unexpected moments on the video stream. Vaughn will run into Greta, the woman in charge of bag pickup at the pool, which may raise Dante's suspicions. If Jocelyn later meets with Vaughn, Dante may be intrigued as well. Of course, there could be another reason Liesl is in town if she ends up attending a Greta meeting. Obrecht may play a role in whatever research Professor Henry Hank Dalton is working on, so keep an eye out for any findings Dante makes. Jason will then bid farewell to Sasha Gilmore Corbin. Sasha and Daisy Gilmore will be residing with Robert Scorpio for a while, but Jason insists the door to the Q home will always be open. When Jason gets to the airport for his flight, he'll see Britt, or at least a lady who looks like her. The sight will leave Jason speechless and full of questions. General Hospital spoilers predict Jason will have to deal with some shocking news, so stay tuned. The General Hospital recap for Thursday, July 17 shows Robert Scorpio welcoming Sasha Gilmore Corbin and Daisy Gilmore to their new house, while Nina Reeves admitted her blackmail problem to Sonny Corinthos. After a trashy article surfaced about Nina's marriage to Sonny becoming a nightmare, he confronted her for lying to the public. Nina explained that Tracy Quartermaine blackmailed her, so Sonny understood her want to safeguard her friendship with Willow Tate. Nina also warned Sonny that based on the interviewer's questions, another piece will most certainly be written about Sonny's uncertain mental state. Meanwhile, Lulu Spencer protested that Dante Falconeri excused Brooklyn Quartermaine for what transpired with Rocco Falconeri. Dante believed Brooklyn had made a mistake and argued that playing the blame game would not assist anyone just now. Lulu still believed Dante should direct his rage at Brooklyn if he sought a relationship with Giovanni Gio Palmieri. On Thursday's GH episode, Lulu met with Sonny and urged him to locate a buyer for the Piers, which would benefit Laura Collins politically. Sonny made it apparent that he would deal with the situation and attempted to soothe Lulu. Liesl Obrecht was delighted to see Rocco in his adult form at the cafe. When Rocco asked questions about Britt, Liesl was honest about her flaws and imperfections. Obrecht, on the other hand, applauded Britt for doing her own thing and not caring what others thought. When Liesl learned that Jason Morgan had said nice things about Britt, she made a joke about him being clever despite his brain problems. Obrecht wanted to know more about Rocco's life, but he didn't have much time to talk. Rocco asked if they could talk in person again soon, and Liesl eagerly accepted. Liesl then surprised Nina at Crimson, where they embraced and experienced a lovely reunion. Obrecht imagined there was a disaster to clean up after not hearing from Nina in a while. Jason discussed chartering a private jet for Sasha and Daisy's safety, but decided to return to Port Charles on a normal flight. Sasha assured Jason that he was doing an excellent job parenting Danny and intimated that Danny believed his father was lonely. After asking Jason what he wanted, Sasha advised that the right woman was out there someplace. After the plane landed, Jason drove Sasha and Daisy to the house where they would stay. Robert answered the door and smiled as Sasha presented him to his new granddaughter. At the pool, a woman named Greta kept staring at a suitcase left by Professor Henry Hank Dalton near a lounge chair. It was evident that something was about to happen, so Jocelyn Jacks texted Vaughn to come over. Dalton swam laps as Jocelyn examined his emails. Jocelyn also informed Danny that the woman was a good tipper, so he paid Greta more attention and distracted her briefly. Because Professor Dalton had a meeting with the dean, he raced to change clothes. Jocelyn went down to examine the bag with a tracker in her hand, but she was forced to cover when Dalton returned. Greta finally gave Danny a big tip to get rid of him and grabbed the bag as Dalton stepped away. Dalton lingered out of sight, evidently ensuring Greta had stolen it. Jocelyn texted Vaughn that he was too late and asked him to intercept at the alternative spot instead. In Anna Devane's office, she updated Felicia Scorpio on her concern that Vaughn was working for or against the WSB on the Dalton surveillance. Anna later asked Dante for a favor involving the WSB, indicating that he was ready to take on a new mission of his own. General Hospital spoilers are available for Friday, July 18, 2025. Fans should expect Liesl Orbrecht to warn Nina Reeves about Willow Tate. Anna Devane lands a bombshell on Carly Spencer. Plus, Portia Robinson decides to reclaim her influence over Drew Kane. Let us begin with Liesl Orbrecht, who has returned to Port Charles for a visit. The reason for her reappearance is that Rocco Falconeri learned about Britt Westbourne. Fans are aware that Rocco grilled Lulu Spencer and Emma Scorpio Drake. Then, after speaking with Jason Morgan, Rocco sent an email to Liesl. Liesl arrived in town immediately and attempted to address Rocco's questions. However, Liesl will be involved in more than one plot. In a preview clip, Liesl storms into Nina's office. Liesl informs Nina that Willow has a serious problem. Willow Tate's plea meanwhile. Willow is on the phone in the hospital, most likely with her lawyer or Michael Corinthos. Willow replies in a hurried and subdued tone. Is there really no room for compromise? Portia Robinson's Authority General Hospital previews for Friday, July 18 show that Portia will reclaim her authority. Portia is speaking with Curtis Ashford at her office. The subject is Drew Kane, who has directed the Good Doctor to paint Michael as an opioid addict. In a preview clip, Portia tells Curtis that she's reclaiming her power and Drew can go to hell. On Friday, July 18, 2025, fans will see Jason thrown when he sees Britt at the airport. Jason will also comfort Sasha Gilmore Corbin that she would always have a home to return to. Dante Falconeri is astonished by what he sees. Standing in front of surveillance equipment with an officer, Dante inquires, "Who the heck are you waiting for?" Anna asks Carly how much she knows about Jocelyn Jack's boyfriend Vaughn. If Carly starts questioning Joss, things may quickly become complicated. Especially when Jocelyn, Vaughn, and Jack Brennan appear to be on the verge of discovering what Professor Henry Hank Dalton is actually up to. Which narrative are you most looking forward to witnessing on Friday, July 18, 2025? General Hospital spoilers and updates hint that Liesl Orbrecht will soon return to Port Charles. She'll be upset to learn that her niece, Nina Reeves, is under the spell of Drew Kane. Will these two cooperate against Congressman Cutthroat? Liesl and Nina may team up to save Willow from Drew. Liesl and Nina may band together to ultimately take down Drew and remove him from Willow Tate. We don't know when Liesl will return, but it should be around July, so there are just a few weeks left this month. We do know Britt Westbourne is returning this week. She appeared in this week's commercial when Jason Morgan transports Sasha Gilmore and baby Daisy Gilmore to the airport. He is supposed to follow them to help them settle in. But Jason is astonished to meet someone who looks exactly like Britt. It hasn't been announced whether Kelly Thibault plays Britt, a doppelganger, or a clone. There have been whispers that Kelly Thibault isn't playing Britt or any form of clone, but there have also been reports she is. The role hasn't been announced. However, Jason's head shot around when he saw her, which would not have happened if they were simply acting as if she were a new character. Liesl will also be returning soon, and she has important sequences planned with Rocco Falconeri, as well as appearances by other family members. There have been suggestions that Nathan West or his clone may also arrive. Rocco and Liesl's meeting young actor Finn Francis Carr was pleased with the moments he recorded with her, noting that Rocco made an effort to look sharp for his meeting with Liesl. He wore a button-up shirt and arranged his curly hair with a comb-over, which sounds gorgeous. However, I expect that once Liesl ends her talk with Rocco, she will contact other family members. Nina and her daughter Willow will undoubtedly be on Dr. O's must-visit list when she returns to Port Charles. Rocco had emailed Liesl to learn more about Britt, and she'll be delighted to see the phony grandson she hasn't seen since he was a baby. Liesl will want to see family aside from Rocco. Liesl will be happy to reunite with her niece Nina. She won't be able to see Maxie Jones unless they bring in a replacement actress, but Kirsten has already filmed some extra sequences. Of course, Maxie is the mother of her grandson, James West. However, Liesl will be dissatisfied with her niece's or great-niece Willow's current condition. Nina, on the other hand, will be overjoyed to see her Aunt Liesl again, as she adores her. Nina doesn't have many friends, and even fewer with whom she can confide about her activities and the mess she's gotten herself into. Yet, she can express her sentiments to Liesl. Drew makes more threats this week. Drew continues to threaten Nina, knowing that she was part in the ketamine plan with Portia Robinson. Drew has been blackmailing and controlling Nina for quite some time, leaving her unable to flee his threats. Nina is constantly in danger of losing Willow because of Drew. Nina may find great comfort in having Liesl return because she will have her support and someone to talk to about her problems with Drew. Furthermore, we all know how fierce Liesl is, and I doubt she'll be delighted to find that Drew is blackmailing her niece and making her life unpleasant. Liesl will notice Drew's dramatic change. Liesl is highly protective of her family. Drew currently has power over Willow and ultimately Nina, which is hurting her peace of mind. He has damaged Willow's life because he is fascinated with her. And in case you forgot, Drew saved Liesl's life when Cameron Matheson was first cast in the role. Drew was captured and controlled by Peter August during the moment, and Victor Cassadine was also present at the compound. Liesl was also very interested at the time, tending to Drew's injuries and getting to know him well. She will undoubtedly assume that either this Drew is a lookalike and not Drew at all, or that he is once again being controlled, but she will not let him off the hook. Remember when Peter was held hostage in a cabin? Drew should keep in mind that she is the same woman who kidnapped supervillain Peter August and imprisoned him in a cottage in the woods. Dr. O tortured him before attempting to burn him alive by setting fire to the place since he was involved in the death of her son Nathan West. He called Caesar Faison, who shot their son. So while Liesl undoubtedly appreciates Drew's saving her from Peter and Victor, she is unlikely to let Drew escape the penalties of blackmailing Nina and manipulating Willow. Liesl leaps into action. It's feasible that Liesl will jump into action and help Nina take down Drew. And also to safeguard her, Willow, and the kids Wiley Corinthos and Amelia Grace Corinthos, Sequoia and Serenity Mork-Mako. It wouldn't take much for Nina to persuade Liesl to help her deal with that slime ball. Together, Nina and Albrecht could devise a plan to eliminate Drew, or at least convince Willow that he should leave. Portia was quiet for far too long, and now it's clear why. She's done with Drew and there's no looking back. The man she once thought could bring her peace, stability, and maybe a second chance at love has shown his true colors, and Portia's patience has evaporated. It's not just about the lies or the aggression. It's about the choices he keeps making, how he operates in a moral gray zone that Portia no longer has any tolerance for. Their dynamic has been off for weeks, with Portia growing increasingly uneasy about Drew's proximity to schemes, his alliance with certain Port Charles power players, and his hidden agendas. The final straw wasn't a single event. It was a culmination of tiny moments, snide remarks, and a gut feeling that Portia could no longer ignore. She watched Drew spiral further into control, manipulating situations for his benefit and pretending he was the one holding the moral high ground. When Portia tried to raise concerns like any partner might, she was met with cold dismissal or empty assurances. She could feel herself shrinking in those moments, being silenced without being told to be quiet. Her career, her daughter, and her dignity were slowly being pushed to the background in favor of Drew's rising ambition. Portia had learned from Curtis what it meant to love someone who danced with danger. She thought Drew might be different, a man who'd been to hell and back and came out of it with clarity. But the truth is, Drew came back with an agenda. His vision for the future didn't include true partnership, only utility. Portia realized that she was becoming just another piece in his chess game, and she was no longer willing to be moved around. Meanwhile, Jason is doing his own quiet investigating. He's never been the kind of man to let things slip by unnoticed, and Britt's sudden reappearance, or at least the rumors surrounding her, have made him uneasy. Britt Westbourne has always been a wild card. Someone who flits in and out of people's lives with intensity, often carrying secrets that leave destruction in their wake. Jason has heard whispers. He's seen signs. Nothing definitive, but enough to make him look twice. He doesn't move hastily. Jason watches from the shadows, letting the puzzle come together naturally. There's something off about Britt lately, something too clean. It's not just her appearance, which is polished to perfection. It's the way she deflects, the way she quickly exits a conversation, and the uncharacteristic distance she keeps between herself and anyone who used to know her. She's working too hard to seem composed, and Jason's instincts are screaming that she's hiding something big. He's tracked her movements through the hospital, quietly observing who she talks to, how long she stays, and whether she doubles back or avoids certain wings entirely. Nothing concrete has surfaced yet, but the trail is getting warmer. Jason knows from experience that when people come back to Port Charles, they rarely return just to catch up with old friends. Britt has a reason for being here, and Jason's going to find out exactly what it is, whether she wants him to or not. Elsewhere, Carly finds herself under fire yet again. This time over her romantic life. She's no stranger to scrutiny, but something about this line of questioning feels more pointed than usual. People are talking about her choices, about her timing, and about the man she's been seen with. Carly's not used to feeling defensive about her love life. She's always been the kind of woman who loves hard, fast, and without apology. But now with Jason back, with Drew unraveling, and with so many eyes watching her every move, Carly can't shake the feeling that every decision she makes is going to have lasting consequences. The questions don't come from strangers. They come from people she once considered allies: Olivia, Sam, even Michael. There's a gentle judgment in their tone, a curiosity laced with concern, and in some cases flat-out suspicion. Carly knows what it looks like. She's been laughing too much with a man who has secrets of his own. She's been holding her cards close to her chest, and when Carly does that, it always sparks rumors. She hasn't confirmed anything, and she certainly hasn't denied anything either. That's not her style. But deep down, Carly is conflicted. There's a part of her that enjoys the attention, the drama, the risk. And then there's the part of her that remembers what it cost her in the past. The betrayals, the heartbreak, the losses that reshaped her entire life. She tells herself this time is different. That she's different. But then she catches her reflection in the mirror and sees the same fire in her eyes, the same restless energy, and the same defiance. As Portia pulls back from Drew, Carly is pulled deeper into something unclear. She may not be the one Drew is leaning on anymore, but her own emotional orbit is becoming just as complicated. She wants to feel alive, seen, and understood. But what happens when she's finally asked to explain herself? When someone demands to know what she's really doing with a man who may not be what he seems? Jason, ever the sentinel, sees all of this unfolding from the corners of his life. He notices the way Carly avoids eye contact when the name Drew comes up, the way her voice tightens when questioned about the new man in her life. He's not judging her, not really, but he's quietly keeping track. He knows how fast things can spin out of control, how easy it is for people to chase hope straight into danger. And he's not about to let that happen to Carly, not again. The tension between Drew and Jason simmers just beneath the surface. They haven't had it out yet, not really, but the divide between them is undeniable. Jason sees a man who lost himself, who came back a stranger. Drew sees a ghost who never truly left Carly's heart. The quiet competition, the underlying jealousy, it's all boiling toward something. And when it does explode, there won't be any middle ground. Portia, meanwhile, finds herself reclaiming her voice. She's not shouting, she's not breaking things, but she's walking away with her head high. She's making it clear that she won't be used or dismissed. Drew may try to win her back, or worse, try to punish her for leaving. But Portia's done playing second to a man's ambition. She's got her own life to build, her own daughter to protect, and her own heart to listen to. And Britt, whatever she's hiding, is not going to stay hidden for long. Jason will see to that. He's not the man to be easily manipulated, and if Britt thinks she can pull the wool over his eyes, she's in for a rude awakening. Her past isn't clean, and her present is shaky at best. Whatever brought her back to Port Charles, Jason intends to unearth it, even if it leads to something he doesn't want to find. For now, all three stories remain tangled. Carly's uncertain romance, Portia's liberation, and Jason's quiet surveillance. The web grows tighter each day, and while no one's openly fighting, the emotional warfare is palpable. Carly's romantic choices will collide with Jason's protective instincts. Portia's stand will ripple through the Corinthos family alliances. And Britt's secrets will light a fuse under the entire hospital. None of them know it yet, but they're all moving toward a shared moment. One confrontation that could flip everything. And when it happens, trust will be broken, truths will surface, and no one will walk away untouched. Port Charles thrives on chaos, and this time, it's closing in from all sides.